Sailrite Spinnaker kits come complete. All panels are pre-cut and all supplies are included and the instructions are excellent. Build your own Spinnaker and save lots of money. In this video we'll be building a Spinnaker kit. This kit from Sailrite includes all the materials and all panels are pre-cut with seam lines plotted directly on the fabric for easy construction. Baste the panels together and then sew them up. Every Sailrite sail kit comes with a computer printout showing you panel layout. All panels are numbered to make it easy. In this section of the video you can't see it, but there are seam lines plotted on each one of these panels. All you do is match up the seam line with the raw edge of the opposite panel and baste and sew. All panels are also labeled clearly. We're going to start with this section and do these two panels first. Construction is easy if it's done in 5 sections. We'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll start with section 1, the first 2 panels. Double-sided tape is included with each one of Sailrite's sail kits. This makes construction easy by basting panels together. We apply double-sided tape and we want to apply it to the large size of each panel and then baste down to the smaller end of each panel. And there are seam lines, as we discussed earlier, on each panel, so all that's necessary is to line up the raw edge of the top panel to the bottom seam line that's plotted directly on the opposite panel. Then be careful to apply the panels directly on top of the lines and take your time. The nice thing about double-sided tape is you could always reapply it if you don't get it perfect. And there we go. This is the small end of each panel. So there are the first 2 panels. Alright, we'll take these first 2 panels over to the sewing machine. We're using the professional 3-step or 4-point zigzag sewing machine. You don't have to use a 4-point or 3-step machine. You could just do 2 rows of a zigzag stitch. Here we are putting basting tape on that next panel and then joining them up. As you saw there in the video, there was a number on each one of these panels to help you orientate where each panel goes. Again, start at the big edge and seam these panels together, being careful not to apply more pressure to either the top or bottom layer while you're seaming them, so they come out nice and smooth, no wrinkles. Then just to simply take that over to your sewing machine and again sew either your 3-step, or if you're using just a single zigzag machine, sew 2 rows of zigzags right next to each other. Alright, this is section 1 that we're working on. Now here's an important tip.
Okay, when you bring that up, you're going to want to overlay it like this and bring the point right to the edge of the line.
It may not make much sense now, but when you see the big picture, this is the center of section 1 and 2, and it will make sense here in a little bit. Now she's just seaming these 2 panels together. This is section 1.
When you make your square here, that's the way you want to put it together. Otherwise, you're going to come up and all your panels are going to start in here, and when you go to put it on your next section, it won't go together right.
Alright, we're skipping ahead here. Deb already has this entire section 1 sewn together, and here we've laid it out on the table again to show you exactly what she was talking about earlier, so this makes sense now. See the differences here? We're going to be cutting those off. No need to show you, but she's already sewn section 2 together, and there are the differences again. We'll take some scissors now and just cut off the excess material so they butt up nicely. When you're seaming and sewing your Spinnaker together, you'll notice that some of the ends of seams don't exactly butt up or match up. That's quite common. Don't worry about it. You'll be doing trimming work to even them up. Now we apply basting tape. This is the side that has the seam lines running along the one edge, and so there's a line on the one panel but not on the other. Then we just simply peel back the paper topping and reveal the glue and seam these sections together. The styles of seaming vary. Here Deb is doing it on top of the fabric, applying even pressure to both the top layer and the bottom layer, trying not to stretch one more than the other. Some people work off of the fabric. You'll develop your own style as you build your Spinnaker. Alright, we're coming to the end of this, and we're going to jump ahead again here, and notice it's a little bit off. Don't worry about it, don't rip it up again. We'll be doing some trimming. There it's a little bit off too. We won't do anything about that. That's quite common. So, because it's off here at the foot, we're actually going to take a ruler and mark a line to make it fairly straight, and then just trim off that excess material. Okay. Now that those are seamed together, section 1 and section 2, we're going to roll it up so it fits under the arm of the sewing machine, and then we're going to sew them together. Again, you can use a zigzag here, 2 rows of zigzag, or as we're showing here in the video, we're using this 3-step or 4-point machine. Section 1 and 2 are together. Now we'll start section 3. There is a seam line on the top of this panel. Put a basting tape on it and peel back the paper surface and seam this section together. There may be more panels in your sail. It just depends on the size. Then take that over to the sewing machine and sew those together. Alright, now this is section 4. The most work in spinnakers is obviously seaming and sewing. There's a lot of things to be sewn, but it's easy work. Here we're sewing section 4 after it's been all seamed together. You can do your own style again if you want to sew or baste, each panel and then sew it, or if you want to baste each section then sew it. That's your preference. Here we are with all the sections sewn together. Now all we need to do is join section 4 and 5. Again, for the sake of time, we're not going to show all this, but basically you want to baste these panels together, sew them up, and then all you have left is the patch assemblies and the stays. Please refer to the second video for patch assembly and construction and also the stays.